What is an insulin-resistant diet? I'm going to show you exactly what you need to eat to reverse insulin resistance and share my easy-to-follow insulin resistance diet with you. Insulin resistance means your cells are not allowing insulin in. Insulin escorts sugar in the form of glucose into your cells, but if your cell insulin receptor is resistant to insulin, glucose can't get in and your cells cannot make enough energy. But it's more than that. The insulin receptor not only unlocks the glucose portal, but also portals for amino acids, fatty acids, and water to get into your cells. So when you're insulin resistant, your body is starving and dehydrated. An insulin resistance diet is one that helps your body become more sensitive to insulin. An insulin resistance diet is well balanced with moderate protein and fat and low in carbs. An insulin resistance diet includes lots of low glycemic plant foods, meaning those that do not raise your blood sugar. An insulin-resistant diet does not include sugar nor starchy carbs like bread, pasta, potatoes, rice, and other grains. By cutting out the foods that get turned into sugar quickly, you begin to train your body to use its stored sugar for energy. All of us have at least 400 calories or 100 grams worth of sugar stored in our muscles and our liver, but the rest of the sugar is stored in your white fat cells, usually right around your middle. At first, cutting out the sugar and starchy foods from your diet is hard because your body wants to hold on to the stored sugar, so you tend to crave sugar and starch, but it'll pass. You won't starve. So what does a typical insulin resistance diet look like? Well, your breakfast can be whole milk yogurt, unsweetened of course, with maybe some chopped nuts, or eggs and veggies, a little avocado, maybe even meat or cheese. Vegetarians can use protein alternatives if the carb count is less than 20 grams. You cannot skip breakfast. I know that's hard because most people with insulin resistance aren't hungry in the morning. After a few weeks on the insulin-resistant diet, you start waking up hungry, and that's a good sign. Your cells are becoming more sensitive to insulin. Lunch needs to be the biggest meal, at least 40% of your total calories that you consume for the whole day. Lunch consists of 1/3 protein, 1/3 fat, and 1/3 veggies. You get all the low glycemic veggies you can eat, like leafy greens, summer squash, mushrooms, green beans, pea pods, artichokes, eggplant, peppers, tomatoes, cucumbers, celery, asparagus, onions, broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. There's actually a lot of veggies you can eat. Just avoid winter squashes, potatoes, yams, and beans. You get protein in the form of meat, chicken, fish, nuts, seeds, tofu. You consume fat like olive oil, butter, nuts, and seeds, avocado, and coconut. Now remember, a gram of fat is more than twice the calories as a gram of protein or carbs, so your plate has to have half the volume of fat compared to protein. Now, what if you're still hungry after you eat, or worse, you crave sugar? Well, that means your adrenal glands are not making enough cortisol right after you eat to release some stored sugar to feed your hypothalamus until your body digests the protein, fat, and veggies. Like a lot of my patients, you may have adrenal insufficiency along with insulin resistance, and it's super common to have sugar cravings after you eat, and especially in the late afternoon when your cortisol levels naturally plummet. When my patients call me crying that they can't stand the sugar cravings, I know their hypothalamus needs to be calmed down because it thinks they're starving. So I came up with a recipe for what I call cocoa energy balls, a mix of raw cocoa, nut butter, and coconut to eat right after a meal, which satisfies your hypothalamus. Your fat cells will eventually let go of the sugar they're holding, and you won't feel so hungry. Plus, you'll have slimmed down. If you want my recipe and my full insulin-resistant diet, then sign up for my free hormone reboot training. So what about dinner? Dinner is the smallest meal, and it's important to eat dinner early, at least 3 hours before you go to bed. Why? Because after dusk, your metabolism naturally slows down. Any carbs you eat will be stored as fat, so absolutely no carbs after dark. Dinner looks just like lunch, but less food. It's best for your metabolism to have a little more fat for dinner, so eat a handful of nuts or seeds, add it to your salads or stir fry, drizzle some extra virgin olive oil all over everything, and cooking with olive oil is the best way to preserve nutrients. Just don't use high fat over 500 degrees, but roasting, sauteing, or grilling with olive oil is a great way to get the extra healthy fat your body needs to heal insulin resistance. I'll see you in the next video.